pages of my journal are getting filled with the adventures of the past 3 episodes. I've traveled to 5 countries in search of what binds us as Southeast Asians. As a scholar of our region's history, I like to get people to think regionally and not just in terms of nation states. History holds lessons on ASEAN culture, and I think the future depends on fostering an ASEAN identity. So in this last episode, I go in search of a people who I think represent the proto-ASEANs, and I look for young people around the region to understand how they see our future.
From the highlands of West Sumatra to the streets of Bangkok, from the temples of Yangon to the palaces of Java.
This is my Southeast Asia. History books tell us that in the 16th century, when the first European travelers arrived in Southeast Asia, they came in search of the famed Spice Islands, but they discovered an archipelago populated by seafarers and sea nomads. In the centuries that followed, the Europeans competed intensely with the Southeast Asians for the lucrative spice trade. So in order to justify their aggressive behavior, the European explorers made up stories about Southeast Asian seafarers as wild and savage. They called them pirates for their supposedly rogue behavior. But in fact, they looked like this. Nothing like the pirates in the Western sense. Though the seafarers in this region did engage in combat and warfare, they were primarily people who made their living on the seas. I'm fascinated by the seafarers of old, so I'm off in search of the Bajo people, who I'm told are among the last remaining sea nomads of our time. There is, however, a slight problem with this expedition, for there are no addresses at sea. So locating the Bajo people would be tricky, but thankfully I have a secret weapon, and his name is Benny.
Okay, bisa? Sip, di sini?
Ya, di dekat sini.
Okay.
Benny is a PhD student from Yogyakarta University and is doing research on the Bajo people for his thesis. Our search starts in the Sulawesi village of Desa.
Jalannya bukan saya.
The village chief tells us that many of the Bajo people have now settled on land, but there is still a community of Bajo who live out at sea on boats. And our best bet is to chase them down on the waters.
Well, this is going to be my hotel for the next 3 days. They're putting it together now, just like Lego. I think I'm going to call it the Titanic too.
Benny tells me that the Bajo can be found in the Philippines, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and even as far as Europe. My guess is that this search is not going to be over anytime soon.
Well, I've just spent my first night out at sea. It's been an incredible experience for me because I've been living on a constantly moving seascape. There's not been one moment of stillness. And being out here at sea, I'm beginning to understand why the Bajo are so attached to it, because it gives you this incredible feeling of freedom and movement.
We make a pit stop to refuel at another sea village. I learn that these villages on stilts are the result of a compromise between the Bajo people and the Indonesian government. The government wanted them to move to land so that they can be included in the population census. This was previously impossible when they were sea nomads. I know that the original Bajo people never used to hold passports or identity cards, and I'm curious if things have changed now that they are anchored to a floating village.
Dan kalau gitu, apa warga negara mereka?
Benar, masih ada hingga sampai sekarang. Nah, kayak di Kalimantan itu kok masih ada di laut, tidak punya paspor dan tidak punya KTP. Nah, hingga di Sulawesi Tenggara ini masih ada juga. Nah, jadi memang hidupnya hanya di laut. Ya, rumahnya di laut, nikahnya di situ, melahirkan di atas perahu. Ya, makanya halusnya tanah.
Japar has been trading with the Bajo for more than 20 years. He buys their catch, such as sea cucumbers and other seafood. Japar used to meet them at sea, where they travel freely without any concern or knowledge of maritime borders.
Now, if we sail in that direction, we get to the Philippines. And over there is Java. And over there are Singapore and then Malaysia. But here, we are in the center of the Bajo universe, where passports and visas don't matter. And if we look around us, there are no borders in sight. So, I finally found some of them, the Bajos who are actually fishing at sea. I'm going to say hello to them now. Pak! Saya naik, Pak? Pagi, Pak. Pagi. Oh, sudah siang, ya? Siang, Bu. Ini yang ditangkap hari ini, semuanya.
Unung has 9 children. Together with his sister, Asna, they fish to feed their family before selling the extra catch. 50-year-old Unung is out at sea with his family every day. He has fished all his life. Both siblings gave up living on their family boat after Indonesia's independence. Like many of their people, they now live in the sea village. However, their identity is still found at sea.
Di mana pulau, di situ tempatnya lagi singgah. Di mana teluk, di situ lagi berlabuh. Tempat tanah airnya, anunya itu kan di air, di laut.
Jadi buat Ibu Ibu rasa lebih senang di mana? Hidup di darat atau hidup di laut?
Tapi yang penting lautnya tuh. Di situ kita punya pencarian. Di mana ada laut, di situ ada bajunya.
Oke, Pak, selamat ya. Well, they don't look like pirates to me.
I've come to the conclusion that though they've made their home close to land, their traditions and beliefs from the sea follow them.
So this is the ula-ula that's used during the celebrations like weddings, all right? And this is hung high up above the house. So there you can see it even from sea and when the ships come in.
It's a sign that the Bajo have a ceremony.
Okay, got it. And different communities will have different ones.
Yes.
Can we go inside?
Yeah.
Where did you go in first?
This pennant or flag is sacred to the Bajo. They believe that they'll be punished by their ancestors if the flag is raised without good reason. The Bajo also believe that when they are born, each Bajo has a twin born underwater at the same time, and that's what binds them to the sea. They even believe that if they live on land, then rain will follow them for 30 days. I meet up with Pak Haris, a Bajo who has settled in the city of Kendari. But living on land has been a difficult transition for him. He moved to land only when he was 30 years old, and Pak Haris is now a politician.
Yang kita inginkan sebenarnya justru perkembangan yang ada di darat itu yang ke laut. Kami itu ada yang datang ke darat hanya karena datang menjemput. Setelah ada, kami akan bawa ke laut. Apalagi misalnya kan makanya kami akan mendesak pemerintah menyeimbangkan pembangunan antara di darat dengan di laut. Sehingga kami tidak harus berbondong-bondong ke darat. Macam sekolah, apa itu harus dibangun di laut. Harus ada yang dibangun di laut.
Well, I've come to the end of my search for the Bajo, and I'm sad to leave them because in so many ways, the Bajo were really the proto-ASEANs who lived in this interconnected region for hundreds of years. And as we get closer to ASEAN 2015, some of us may feel anxious about living in a globalized world, but we don't have to be, because they, the Bajo, they are a testimony to how we can live in this fluid world with courage
After the break.
Coca-Cola. Kalau di sini ada yang dingin? Enggak ada. Coca-Colanya panas.
Well, the kids know about Coca-Cola, but they don't know about ASEAN. Here in Indonesia and across ASEAN, young citizens are being taught their national histories, and that's not surprising. But can we do more to teach our young about the shared commonalities that we have among each other in ASEAN and how they came about? In other words, can we have an ASEAN curriculum for our schools?
I admit that these are big questions, but with ASEAN integration in 2015 approaching, I want to know how much our young people know about ASEAN.
Coca-Colanya kenal? Coca-Cola. Kalau di sini ada yang dingin? Enggak ada. Coca-Colanya panas.
Well, the kids know about Coca-Cola, but they don't know about ASEAN.
Now I'm in downtown Singapore, and let's see how many people know what this sign means. What do you think this is?
ASEAN.
Can you tell me what this is?
Union Jack.
Union Jack.
I don't know.
ASEAN. Quite familiar by Pokemon. All right, okay. Thank you. Mas, ada soalan saya mau tanya ya. Mas, kenal ini lambang apa?
Kurang tahu saya.
Ini apa?
Gambar apa yang
Lambang ASEAN. Ah, bravo.
Gambar itu, gambar kupu kayaknya.
Gambar kubu.
Iya.
Oke. SpongeBob kenal nih. Kalau kenal, angkat tangan. Oke. So even SpongeBob knows ASEAN. I'm not sure how representative SpongeBob is of our Southeast Asian youth. Not many people know that the ASEAN logo is made out of 10 stalks of paddy. This makes me wonder if we need to refresh the logo to make it more hip for the youth of today. But I'm particularly interested to find out what young people feel about ASEAN. So I traveled to Yangon to meet up with some high school students, William, Pipi, Joe, and Wendy.
Can I ask you then, what does the ASEAN community mean to you?
It's always better to be a community, like they said, to be connected with the other countries.
And how much are you taught about ASEAN at school?
Yeah, my school is state high school, so we have to teach very little about ASEAN in history, and we rarely talk about ASEAN in the olden years, in my middle school years.
I think the syllabus should be changed, and more and more about the Southeast Asian countries should be taught, because it's our neighboring countries.
Spot on, William. I personally think that there is more need than ever now for schools to emphasize regional identity.
Because I was married to a French woman. At that time. So anyway, thank you so much.
Bye.
And hope to see you again here. See you guys again. Take care.
I took this suggestion to someone who has a key role in promoting the cohesiveness of ASEAN.
Exchange of curriculum, writing the curriculum together, these things are extremely important. Because in the end, it's not the economic issues that are going to bind us. It will be the sentiment. It will be a sense of belonging. It will be a sense of common identity. All these things are going to be important for the success of the community.
When we come back, catch a ship with some very special cargo. It's only 9 in the morning, but the buzz from the welcome party is so palpable, you know something big is about to arrive. This is the ship for the Southeast Asian Youth Program and their precious human cargo, youths from Japan and 10 countries that make up ASEAN. The program has been running for 39 years with one purpose in mind: friendship.
We are on the Fujimaru now, which has now docked here in Singapore, its third port of call as it goes on this voyage across Southeast Asia. And in total, the 312 participants from all the ASEAN countries and Japan would spend 53 days at sea and land. But halfway through their journey, they've already bonded together, almost like a family at sea. You've been at sea for 31 days now. So Grace, has the ship become your home?
Strange enough, even though all of us come from different culture and background, I feel really at ease and at home on this ship.
After all this time, I mean, what has struck you? The similarities among all of you or the differences among you?
Coming from the Philippines, we have a lot of different cultures in our country. And I expected a lot of differences coming here in Fujimaru, but then I discovered that there are more similarities than differences.
We tend to focus on differences, but for me, like 40 seconds, 50 seconds of differences are nothing compared to one day of similarities living with each other.
The desire of all the youth and passion of all the youth for regional progress and development really was what strikes me most.
There must be some awkward moments, right? Of misunderstandings, miscommunications. I wonder what you guys do when that happens. Now, Shuzo, they also call you Prince.
Yes.
So what do you do?
I just sing whatever song that fits me. For example, Nesundorma. Nesundorma, Nesundorma, tu pure principessa nella tua fredda stanza.
Japan started the program in 1974 so that the youths from the country and around the region would have a chance to meet and get to know one another. All the participants in this program are 30 and below, and their energy is infectious. They've already visited Ho Chi Minh City and Bangkok and will go on to Jakarta and Brunei before heading back to Japan, where their journey started. At every port of call, they get to understand each country a little better. But the part of the program that these youths look forward to most is the experience of staying with a local host family. Jonah and EE from Myanmar go off with their homestay parent, Lawrence. He and his family will adopt them for 2 days. This is the 6th time Lawrence has welcomed participants of this program into his home.
Fried, so-called Hokkien mee. Fried Hokkien mee. Right?
He feels he gets to make friends with people all over the region. It's amazing to think that this ship has been building friendships among youths around the region for almost 4 decades now.
I came across this Japanese quote which says, "Individually, we are one drop. Together, we are an ocean." For me, there was an oomph there, like, oh, this is it. This is what Asian countries can be like in the future. Collectively, we are a body of ocean that is so big, so vast, and I think it says something about us being united as an ASEAN region.
People have asked me if regional and national identities can coexist. The answer, for me, can be found in my travels around Southeast Asia.
I'm sitting by the Java Sea, and the water doesn't care whether it's Indonesian, Singaporean, or Malaysian. For this ocean has been the corridor that has actually brought us together rather than divide us. And it will be the ecosystem that will be passed on to the next generation of ASEAN citizens. But as long as we think in terms of fixed nations with exclusive boundaries, we may never really appreciate the fact that this entire archipelago is our home. It's not just my Southeast Asia, it's our Southeast Asia. There are many artifacts in Southeast Asia that are on the verge of extinction, and this is one of them. Boys and girls, I don't know how to tell you this, but SpongeBob is dead. It's a wrap? Done? Okay, back to the hotel. I bet you wish you were a teacher.